Welcome everybody to part 4 of my top 50 video games of all time. Let's get into this, guys, really quickly. Just want to mention that we're going through 20 to 11 and then so on with 10 to number 1, and we're going into our top 20 now, guys. So this is rubbing my hands together in excitement, creating static. But I am so amped for this part and the next part, and mainly for the next part, but this part is also very, very unique and special and awesome and cool and all the good stuff. So get ready, guys, and enjoy the video.
Let's go to a place where everything is made of blocks, where the only limit is your imagination. Let's go wherever you want to go. Climb the tallest mountains. Venture down to the darkest caves. Build anything you want. Day or night, rain or shine. Because this is the most significant sandbox you'll ever set foot in. Build a majestic castle. Invent a new machine. Or take a ride on a roller coaster. Play with friends. Build your own little community. Protect yourself with the strongest armor that you can craft, and fight off the dangers of the night. No one can tell you what you can or cannot do, with no rules to follow. This adventure, it's up to you.
Minecraft is number 20, and for good reasons as well, guys. I love Minecraft. I absolutely love Minecraft, and it's an awesome game, especially to play with your friends. Even by yourself, just playing survival is pretty cool, and there's so many, there's no limits to this game. And back in the day, it was such a good game. Not exactly back in the day, not like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but like back when it actually, was really picking up ground and everyone was playing it and enjoying it. It was awesome. It was so much fun, and I don't think this game will ever get old, to be honest, to anyone, because I'm sure there's hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people that still love this game and adore it and fantasize about it, because it's such a popular game. And like YouTube, for one, I doubt there's any other game that has been more popular than Minecraft over the past couple of years. Nothing. There might be a couple of games that are like kind of reaching that kind of standard, but Minecraft has always been such a captivating game where it's brought a lot of people together, and it's become popular, and like amazingly popular beyond anything. And it's just, I had a great time with this game, and I've had it on 360, Xbox One, and on PC, of course. And awesome game, like so fun. Like when you're first playing it, and like when you get back into it, like I can always come back into Minecraft. We always end up going back to Minecraft as well, but you can always come back, and there's always something different and something new that you pick up on, and it's just forever updating and new and fresh. So this game, I don't think, will ever go out of date. So Minecraft is my number 20 on my list.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Number 19 is Gun. God, I love this game. I really love this game. And I'm not really a fan of like Wild West movies and Wild West games and so on, but in certain situations where I get a chance to play these kind of games, like this one in Red Dead Redemption can be counted, I guess, but I really loved Gun. Like, oh, I just remember it so well, and how it played and everything. Like the steamboat, the intro was was very cool, and I don't remember the storyline too much, but Sorry, I'm like just recently had a drink and it's kind of like coming back at me. But as Pepsi, I had Pepsi. Okay, guys, don't think I don't. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was such a good game, and as a child, like, it was a free roam game. You just basically like do bounties and such, and you go to poker. You can play poker. I'm pretty sure you can play poker. Yeah, but I just thought it was cool, and the gameplay was so much fun, and there's nothing really defined that I have to really talk about with this game. It's a basic game about, you know, going after the people who killed your father and such. I'm pretty sure, from what I remember. Yeah. So yeah, I don't remember the storyline too much, but it's a revenge story, I would say. And I thought it was cool, like really, really cool. And there's some parts in the game that completely blew my mind, and I thought was so awesome, like beyond me. And that's when it started going into a new generation of consoles as well. It was actually on the 360 as well, so it was like, yeah, this is what we're gonna get. And I was like, oh my god, touch me. But yeah, this is my number 19 pick, guys, and yeah.
My cause, I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, oh, you're my best friend in a world we must defend. Pokemon.
Number 18 is Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire. But for better words, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. I'm gonna mix them both up into one because they're pretty much both the same game. I've played both games and equally as fun. Probably more child memories would go to the original Ruby and Sapphire games, but they did a great job with the remakes, the Omega and the Alpha remakes on the 3DS's from the Game Boy Advances and so on. And oh man, the memories of this game are so massive. Like the amount of time that I put into these games were insane, and all the troubles and all the fun times of playing this game. By troubles I mean trying to catch the legendaries, because I could never catch the legendaries when I was young. I could not do anything, and I had to like get other people to be like, please help me, please, I don't know how to catch these guys, they're too crazy. Because back then there was no really YouTube to go off or anything like that. You can go on the internet and like Google, but YouTube really wasn't that much of a factor, so there wasn't really much of a tutorial to actually get through these games. And that's comes around again for all the older games, because there's no YouTube or nothing. It's just us playing our games and enjoying them, and not having any ways of figuring out what to do next, but to figure it out yourself. But I ended up getting there in the end, and oh, I love this game. The second time around was much easier, by the way. When I played Omega and Alpha Sapphire, whew, I zipped through that as well. There was no stopping me from finishing that game, and the whole endings after Omega and Alpha, which was like the, what was it, the Emerald sort of story, you could consider it. There's another word for it, I completely don't remember, but yeah, that part, that was pretty cool, like a good addition, and yeah, I thought it was awesome. So yeah, number 18 is Pokemon Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Ruby and Sapphire.
You in here?
seem to be somehow connected to the
Where
nationwide
the heck
pandemic.
are you?
We've received reports that victims afflicted with the infection show signs of increased aggression.
That's
and
nearby.
Everybody out of here now. There's a gas leak. Hey,
there seems to be some commotion coming from
get the hell out of here! Run!
What was that?
The Last of Us is my number 17 pick, guys, and from here on out, I think once you hit one of these kind of games where it's like really hard to choose where to put this game, and The Last of Us was such a good game, so the next couple of games are gonna be like, this was better than The Last of Us. It's not exactly like that, guys, but The Last of Us was such a good game, and it's hard to pick from the next couple of games that I have put on my list because like all of them are so good and so great. But yeah, Last of Us was one of the few games that I actually got on my PlayStation 3. I got God of War games, well the only God of War game that I think was on the PlayStation 3, which was God of War 3, and I didn't get Judgment, or whatever, no, not Judgment, that's Ascension, I don't know, one of the others, one of the God of War games, but yeah, and a couple other games, Uncharted, so on. But Last of Us was probably one of the games that I'm probably going to remember, that I'm like, yep, that's a game I played on my PlayStation 3, and one of the only games that I played on my PlayStation 3. But yeah, I thought it was such a great game, and I love like the original Crash Bandicoot games. That's my only good knowledge of a good Naughty Dog game. But you know, they made the other one, Jack and whatever, which was on PlayStation 2, which I didn't get, and I never really got a good chance to play it. It was probably amazing, and same with Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation 2. I never really got a good chance to play Ratchet and Clank. I played it bits and pieces, but I never really had a good chance to play it. So playing another Naughty Dog game was such a good feeling, especially with Uncharted as well, because I think Uncharted is more closer to the Crash Bandicoot series. But I love Last of Us. Like, I love the whole premise of Last of Us, the whole storyline of Last of Us. I love the gameplay in Last of Us. Like, there's very, very minor points that is for The Last of Us, and yeah, this is my number 17 pick.
Okay.
Star Wars Republic Commando was such an awesome game. It came out on the original Xbox and so on, like PC and so on. But oh my god, this is where my fascination first started with squad-based games, where you could control your squad and put them in places and certain things. And that's where my my liking to Rainbow Six kind of came into play. But this is where it kind of all originated from, was this game, Star Wars Republic Commando. And the game was such a awesome game. It may not have like an, you know, a compelling story and so on, but I really enjoyed the gameplay and how it was and the atmosphere. Like, it was very dark and gloomy, and it kind of told a different story than what you would normally see in like the Star Wars, which was in the pre-sequels. It was set in the pre-sequel stages of the movies, and I thought it was awesome. I'm not like a huge Star Wars fan. Like, I love Star Wars, I love watching the movies and playing most of the games. Like, there's a lot of good Star Wars games out there, like Battlefront, which is in my list as well. But it's such a good game, and like, I will never say like I don't want to go back and play that. Like, I literally recorded some gameplay. The gameplay that you're seeing right now is me going back and playing it, and I enjoyed it, and I really want to play over again, because I can't exactly remember the ending part. I remember beating it, but just like, I'm gonna go back and I'm going to complete it. So there's a couple of like really scary parts in the game as well, especially when you're on the Republic stranded ship that you have to go and like investigate and see if there's any more person. It's just like, what the hell, what's going on here? But some of the parts of the game are really like intense and very hard at some points. So This is Star Wars Republic Commando and is number 16 on my list.
Joker has been apprehended. Batman is now en route to Arkham Island.
Stand back, fool, I've got a bomb! Huh? All right.
Arkham Asylum is my number 15 pick, guys, on my list, and oh my god, this is such an amazing game. At the time, there was really no better game than Batman Arkham Asylum, and don't get me wrong, Batman Arkham City was an awesome game too. I'm gonna always question myself between the sequels and the pre-sequels and so on, but Arkham Asylum is kind of what set the bar for the city and onwards to the other Batman games like Batman Knight and Origins. But oh, this game was like, there hadn't been a good Batman game in so long. Like, I remember playing the old Batman games and enjoying them, but not like amazingly enjoying them. But this game was kind of something that was so dark and gloomy and awesome, and the combat was so great, the story was awesome. Like it's just, it was such a fun game at the time, and I never actually owned the game. I actually rented the game. I rented it and I kept on renting it. I was like, I just couldn't stop renting it because it's such a good game. And I never had Arkham City. I always borrowed that off my brother for a little bit. And yeah, like if I had to choose between the two, I would say Arkham Asylum. In scope, probably Arkham City because it has so much more to it. But Arkham Asylum is kind of what was, it's like a test project for future games. They got it right, and they got it exactly right. And I'm happy to say that Arkham Asylum is number 15 on my list. Assassin's Creed is number 14. The original Assassin's Creed game is number 14. And how many Assassin's Creed games are there now? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 or 7 Assassin's Creed games. But the first one is the game that I chose to be the Redeemer. And, oh well, not exactly Redeemer, but the originator, the creator, and the masterpiece that was Assassin's Creed. Obviously, this kind of goes under how Arkham was kind of like a test project for like this game that I don't think anyone kind of expected at all, and like it was completely different to what I would have imagined. Like when I first played Assassin's Creed, it blew my mind how different it was compared to every other game. Just simply pushing a person aside while walking next to them was mind-blowing to me, and you know, it's very like limited compared to the other Assassin's Creed games. You have a ton of customization now in Assassin's Creed games, but back then you only had what, a dagger, your hidden knife, sword, and your fists. So you had to kind of make do with that, even though like in the intro you had that crossbow, which never was actually introduced in the game, but it was supposed to be in the game but never made it. But it was soon in every Assassin's Creed game pretty much now. Crossbow or a bloody musket is even more common now. But I really loved Assassin's Creed, and it was one of the original games that I got on my Xbox 360, and it was such an awesome game. Like every single bit about it I didn't mind at all. Like it sometimes got a little bit repetitive, but the amount of like when I look back on the good games that I played on my Xbox 360, I'm gonna say Assassin's Creed was one of them. And that's what kind of makes the difference between like these kind of games and the games that, you know, are good, like amazing, but I'm not gonna remember them too well. But yeah, Assassin's Creed is number 14. Number 13 is Mirror's Edge. Number 13 is another game that kind of took me off guard and just blew my mind completely. And another game that was so unique and so different and something that you never seen before. I have never seen something like this before, and this is why Mirror's Edge was such a good game to me, because it was so different to all the other games. Like the first time playing that game was sensational, and playing the first playthrough, perfect. It's a quick game, like it doesn't take long to complete when you know where you're going and what you're doing and so on. But like the first time you play through the game, it's outstanding. There's no really good plot to it. Like there's a couple of betrayals here, and you get like framed and so on. But it's awesome, and it doesn't even need a story because it's got the gameplay, guys. It's got the gameplay, and that's all that's gonna matter in the end. It's the gameplay. And yeah, like even like the trials and everything, I used to always play the trials, and just like I put a lot of hours into this game for the amount of content that it has, which is pretty much little to none. It's just the story and the trials. There's nothing really else you could do except for the harder difficulties. But it really was an awesome game, and I just had so much fun with it, and it's just, I can't wait for Mirror's Edge 2. Like, I really can't wait. I've been wanting it for a while, but lately I'm kind of a little bit about Mirror's Edge 2, because lately games aren't exactly that great, and like content related, it's not really that good. But I hope Mirror's Edge 2 won't be corrupted and lowered down to like bits and pieces and expansions and DLCs and pay for this, pay for that. I hope they don't go ahead with that, because it looks amazing. And yeah, it's Mirror's Edge, guys.
Sony Computer Entertainment America presents a Universal Interactive Studios production. A game created and developed by Naughty Dog. Crash Bandicoot 4. Press start to begin.
Crash Bandicoot 3. Man, oh man, the memories I had with Crash Bandicoot games. But Crash Bandicoot 3 was probably the game that I enjoyed the most and thought was awesome, epic, cool, crazy, sick, and so on. And yet another Naughty Dog game, and God, how Naughty Dog makes some bloody amazing games. And like the space between these two games, The Last of Us and Naughty Dog, you can see, I mean not Naughty Dog, Crash Bandicoot, my bad. But like you can, yeah, it's like the graphical improvement between those two times is phenomenal. But then again, Crash Bandicoot was always a fan favorite and one of my favorite games of all time. The original, the second one, the third one, especially the third one, and that's why it is on my list. Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped was such an awesome game, and like everything about it was just, I loved it. I thought it was so sweet. There's some missions that were really fun and different compared to the other ones. Like you've always got like those chasing kind of scenes, or you're like so on. But it's just, I really enjoyed these games, and especially Crash Bandicoot games. They've always been my favorite games, especially on the PlayStation. Like like Crash Bash, like Nitro Racing, I think it was, and Crash Bandicoot, just the series, were amazing. But then again, they kind of went into that direction that kind of Spyro went into. Like it got the game, and then it got shipped over to a different company, and now the other company has just completely and utterly destroyed the name, and there's no point. There's not enough point. And it would be awesome if Naughty Dog could actually reclaim those rights to the game and make a new Crash Bandicoot game. I think everyone would be amazingly happy. Like, just one more game, guys. Oh my god, that'd be amazing. But I don't know, it might happen one day. You can never really tell in the industry. Like, you can never really tell. But yes, Crash Bandicoot 3 is my number 12 pick.
Defeated again? This is not fair! Maybe I should retire to a nice big beach with a nice big drink and a woman with nice big bags of ice for my head. It's not over, Bandicoot. There are still the gems. We still have a chance to triumph.
Stephen King once wrote that nightmares exist outside of logic, and there's little fun to be had in explanations. They're antithetical to the poetry of fear. In a horror story, the victim keeps asking why, but there can be no explanation, and there shouldn't be one. The unanswered mystery is what stays with us the longest, and it's what we'll remember in the end. My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer.
Alrighty guys, Alan Wake is number 11, our lucky last number for this video. Number 11, Alan Wake, and how deserving I think this game is of a very close spot to my top 10 games, and I loved this game. And it's another one of those cases of uniqueness. especially in this game, and I do not like horror games, and I think I may have pointed it out in one of the other videos, but I never ever really liked horror games, ever, and this kind of game kind of went in this direction of horror and scariness and so on, so it was not my cup of tea, but it was such a great game, guys. Like, I thought the story was fantastic, even though I still, from this day, have no idea how, like, the main plot kind of intersects with all the other different plots that kind of happen in the game, because you write up a story, and apparently the story's coming to life in nightmares and so on, and the darkness is trying to consume the light, and it's kind of evil versus good kind of story. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so I still have no idea how the story starts and how it ends up coming to the end, but you have a start, you have an ending, and the ending doesn't really tell you too much, but it tells you that there's something else that needs to be told. But I don't think we're ever going to get an Alan Wake 2 game, sadly, but Quantum Break will do it for me. Maybe it has some kind of tie-in to Alan Wake, but probably not. But I thought it was great, guys. Like, you really felt you needed to, like, go through the darkness and try to save your wife and so on as much as you possibly could, and then you slowly start to discover a new story along the way. And yeah, there's some really awesome moments in the game as well that like really take you away and really make you like blown. My mind was blown. I was crying at one point, I was bloody happy at one point, and I was excited and I was crazy, and it was just like, it was a whole bunch of feelings and emotions, like a roller coaster ride through this game, and it was awesome. Like one of the best games of the last generation on the 360 was just, it was great, guys. Like, outstanding. But anyways, guys, that's my number 11 pick, and yeah, we'll be heading into the top 10 games of all time next time on my next video. I'm sorry if this video took a while to come out from my previous video. It's because I didn't have net for a week or so, so that was kind of a little bit of a delay because I couldn't get my music and get my clips and so on, so it just pushed me back a little bit. But yeah, guys, I'll probably be doing a couple other videos as well on my channel. Like Ark is coming out, so I really want to do Ark. And if you don't know Ark, go look at Ark. Ark Survival Evolved, very good game, and research it and so on. But not about that. Our next video will be my top 10 games of all time, and whew, it's gonna get exciting from this point, guys. I'm really excited for this one as well, because it's just a bundle of all my favorite games of all time, and I just think this is gonna be awesome. Alright, guys, I'll see you there.